But on the computer vision, just in the collection phase, there is already initiatives, for example, in France, in certain more than 5,000 cities in France now, they are being incorporating AI camera in order to be able to track those materials that are actually resources that we can properly sort and then reuse.
That's very interesting what you said, because this is also within Veolia what is happening currently.
Welcome back to Let's Turn the Tide by Veolia Near and Middle East. I'm your host, Nadine Zidani, and we are continuing our AI special series, a collaboration with Sorbonne University Abu Dhabi, where we bring you thought-provoking conversations at the intersection of AI and sustainability. Today, we are looking at how AI is changing the way we manage waste, making sorting faster, smarter, and more accurate. I'm joined by two guests to dive into this topic. Clio Chaveneau, Associate Professor of Sociology at Sorbonne University Abu Dhabi, who has been involved in several waste and recycling initiatives in the UAE. And Rafik Sid, Program Manager at Veolia Near and Middle East, working on digitalization and recycling projects across the region. Clio, Rafik, welcome to Let's Turn the Tide.
Welcome.
Thank you. Morning.
So nice to have you both for this very important discussion. So before we dive into AI, I want to ask you, Clio, more about a study on public perceptions of waste in Abu Dhabi that you conducted with a local institution. Could you share key insights with us from this study and what stood out the most from your findings?
So the goal of the study was to examine the gap between what people think and what they actually do. So we were interested in the perception, and that was an interesting realization, because we tend to think that in the UAE, people do not really care about the environment. They have this unsustainable lifestyle. While in the survey, we noticed that there is a very high level of awareness. People are very concerned and they are aware of the climate challenges that we are facing. And 64% of the sample reported taking action in the past year to reduce their own impact. So that was quite significant, I think, especially if we consider the very big diversity of inhabitants of Abu Dhabi in terms of nationality, social demographic factors. And among the top actions that people are actually taking is the reduction of plastic use, and that was probably because there was a lot of campaigns, a lot of initiatives that have been taken to reduce single-use plastic, especially in the UAE in the past few years. And then the second type of action was better waste management. So activity related to recycling and better sorting. And the women and the long-term resident were the most engaged. So that's also an interesting thing. And in terms of motivation, so we wanted to see what could trigger more involvement of the individual, and health is a very important factor. People do worry about their health and the one of their beloved one. And practicality. They want it to be easy. They want it to not to have to give it too much thought, too much effort, and that is not too time consuming. So that was maybe a few findings I could share.
This is very interesting. So it means that awareness is there. So we're not starting from scratch. So Rafik, in terms of the challenges of recycling in the UAE, can you tell us more about that? As you work in environmental services and you're directly facing those challenges.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, actually, because they could have multiple reasons and they are not that easy to categorize. That's true that awareness is getting better and better, especially the past 5 years, I would say, where I have seen that through different initiatives. But I would say it's a continuous improvement to get. Maybe not all people, not everyone is at the same level on this matter. The other complexity, I would say, or challenge is a bit more about the solutions that are or could be available on the market, either pushed by companies, startups, or the government. Most of the time, that's also about maturity, where This is a topic where you need help or support, or I would say a full engagement by everyone, by the individuals through the awareness if they had it, by the companies to be engaged in sustainable initiatives, to work all together, and also with the support and the help of the government to, I would say, lead all of that. There are some initiatives to handle and to achieve that, but I think there is still some progress. There is a potential to experiment, sorry, and that's why today we have some challenges into that. That could be financial also for the startups that are working on that. It's not easy for them to try to leverage and to bring value with small either resources or financial resources as well. So that's, I would say, a mix of all of that that is giving some challenges to this topic.
Totally. So kind of collaboration between, different stakeholders, supporting innovation, as you mentioned, with the startups. And we have a lot happening here in the UAE on that front. And also the financing, which is at the end of the day, the core of, innovation and pushing forward the agenda. When it comes to AI, because this episode is really, and this whole series that we're doing in collaboration with Sorbonne University is about how AI can basically improve, those challenges, improve the way we sort waste and recycle. Do we have today concrete examples where AI is really making an impact? I want to start with you, Clio.
Yeah, so I think probably the first one would be computer vision for material identification. I think that's the field where probably there is the more progress and already some application. So basically the AI is not just seeing the trash, it's seeing the valuable, in the trash. So with the camera and with the identification, an AI can recognize up to, I think now it's probably 50 kind of materials that it can be recognized. So probably better than any human eye. And in AI-powered camera, you can place it, for example, in a truck, the trash truck, and it can help identify, for example, if there is any toxic or hazardous material that will avoid having to throw the whole bin or the whole material being collected. So it will be able to kind of avoid wasting the wastes, and also to start then after that going to the second that will be inside the recycling plants with the track. But on the computer vision, just in the collection phase, there is already initiatives. For example, in France, in certain more than 5,000 cities in France now, they are incorporating AI computer vision, with AI powered camera, in order to be able to track those materials that are actually resources that we can properly sort and then reuse.
Yeah, that's very interesting what you said, because this is also within Veolia what is happening currently. We have many initiatives where all the mentioned computer vision solutions are being tested as POCs or as trials to try to get the value of them and to try to have something to be used in the future and on that matter.
So what does it mean when we have, those cameras, as you said, in a truck? So it helps us to kind of make better decisions, be more proactive, anticipate what's going to happen?
Yeah, so there is this element where you can identify if there is, for example, certain streets or certain neighborhoods that are not properly sorting, for example, when you collect. So then you can do targeted campaign, you can have a awareness campaign, for example, in that area. But it's also helping to already identify if there is some things that have to be already separated. So let's say if there is a dangerous material, AI can notice, and then you can remove it or throw what have been already contaminated, because I think the big problem, and I will let you probably react on that, it's the contamination of recyclable materials.
Definitely, when you are able to source proper materials and sorted materials as recyclables, they are more valuable that they could be better recycled. And when they are not contaminated, you can do that. When they are contaminated, it's more difficult. You have less possibilities to recover them. So the organization, I would say, the logistic is also important, and this data is key for the companies like Veolia to be able to collect more efficiently with a better organization, and then at the end to value better those materials, to be able to recover them and to make them as new.
Interesting. So coming back to Veolia, Rafik, could you share with us real examples from Veolia where AI is already being used in waste management?
Yeah, so I can also tell you something before deep diving into that, is that Veolia has also taken the initiative to have its own AI Gen AI tool by developing Veolia Secure GPT. So I would say that it is a first solution to be used by all employees and the different activities, including waste. So I would say at the first level, that can help you. Then coming back to the computer vision, that's approximately the same initiatives that have been tested over the group, like the initiative to have cameras on the truck to be able to really have the data about what's going on in any area where you have those issues. It's not only about finding who's doing wrong, it's about being able to help people to do better. Like if there is an improvement and you know that the improvement has to be done in a specific area, that's more easy than that it has to be done in an emirate, for example. So that's where data is key. So we have examples like that. To be honest, not in UAE for the truck, for the camera at the back of the truck. In France, we have also this initiative within Veolia. Here in UAE, we have a new initiative that is going to be implemented during the summer in Dubai, in our sorting facility, which will be a camera on the top of the sorting line to be able, again, to get data in order to have a better sorting rate, to sometimes not miss some information or some recyclables that could be put in the wrong category, and that will help also to work with partners to have a circular economy with brands, with different stakeholders, to be able to have, as I said at the beginning, it's a community work to have in this topic of recycling and sustainability. It can be done alone by brands to try to recover their bottles, for example, or by companies when they act on sustainability and recycling as a waste management company, or even the government itself won't be able also to do it by itself. So it's a common work where here the data could be shared with the stakeholder to work together and to have better plans and plannings. The other also initiative that is also a community work was a smart box that has been implemented by Veolia with some supermarkets that was able to tackle, in fact, some challenges that we were discussing about just before. So sometimes having the possibility to collect huge quantity of materials or recyclables is a bit difficult to source them, to be able to sort them. And with this initiative and the help of the AI, we have been able to tackle this challenge of the financial issue, I would say, where in fact we bring everyone into the same location. So that's a deposit location. There is nothing, I would say, that is amazing on this concept. But the way to make the interaction with an application and the QR code is giving us the opportunity to reward the citizen, the end user, to be able to recycle, to know how many or which type of materials are being recycled, where is it working, with those partners as supermarkets, for example. And all of this because at the end we have with the application an AI validation because of the picture that is taken to be able to make sure that this is really a bottle of water that is being deposited, that's really 2 bottles or 3 bottles, to make sure the accuracy of what we are getting, either to reward accordingly the end user, or to have accurate data to be able to know more about the market and to leverage this topic. So thanks to AI, we've been able to do that, because you can imagine that if you had someone treating all the pictures at the back, that won't be something feasible. So that's one of the use cases where AI has really a huge value that can treat those kind of information and tasks in order to give concrete solutions for the recycling area.
Mm-hmm. And there is a common thread, in the examples you both shared, is data. So at the end of the day, the use case of AI at this stage in waste and recycling is mainly to collect data, to analyze huge amounts of data, and be able, to, refine processes, be more efficient, understand a little bit more the end users. But do we see any other innovations in that space using AI?
You mean beyond collecting data?
Beyond collecting the data, absolutely.
Yeah, I think at the level of the belt, you have now robots that are AI controlled, that are again with the camera, but the robot is itself control, and it's picking items based on the analysis. So I believe you have the camera at the beginning of the belt, and then you have the robot a bit later on, and so the robot can sorts, and it go like, I think, up to, so on some website they mention some numbers that look to be very positive, but I think the more realistic number is like 80 to 90 item per minute, which is much better than any human, because human will be like 20, 30, 40 I think at best item per minute. So the robot will go much faster. And it's also quite interesting in terms of labor. I think it's interesting to replace human labor for that kind of probably ungrateful task. So it goes much faster. It's avoiding that you have human being sorting the trash of others, and that it can recognize, as I mentioned before, up to 50 or 60 different kind of items. It is also collecting data, and I think we also, when you're a scientist, you're always interested with the data that is being collected. But so it can also identify some companies, some labels that are probably being also more trashed, and that could be probably push some companies to move to better more sustainable material, for example. But those AI-controlled robots, I think arm robots, are very efficient in the way they can replace human labor for a better sorting not at the level of in the house, but later on in the recycling facilities. I don't know if Veolia or any other companies in the UAE is already having such robots.
I had a feedback from a site in France, where actually they have shared with me that they have been able to increase by 50% the speed of the sorting line.
It's major.
So it's major, yeah. So maybe it's not the double, and it's the case in other areas or other companies, but the feedback that I got in France from those colleagues was that they have been able to increase by 50%. So that's not
that's a big impact. Yeah,
it is. So I think we could see in the coming years or months, I'll say, more of them in sorting facilities. Any other innovation that you see ahead of us, Rafik, in that space?
Actually, as all those initiatives are, I would say, brand new, POCs, tests, we learn, we test and fail, but we learn. We test and sometimes we succeed as well. But all of that is the path, I would say, of the innovation with AI also. So I would say we are at the beginning of the story, I would say, specifically on the waste management industry, where it's maybe not the most advanced one with the technologies each time. Some other industries are way beyond for the AI topic today, but waste management is taking that path as well. And even we are at the beginning, there is a huge potential to have a look to. So we can leverage definitely those solutions. And as for any type of innovations, the first are maybe not the best, but they will show the path to the right or to the best solutions in the future. So concretely, I don't have any example to share because we are still on, I would say, a test and learn phase, at least from Veolia side. Even we have some good examples that we have shared just now, but I think we can do much better. And I would say, as we say, sky is the limit.
So there is space for even more innovation to come into that space. Clio, I want to ask you the last question, because we just talked about the growing use of AI and its potential in waste management, but I want to learn more about the risks and potential concerns we should be aware of with this technology.
Yeah, so I think there is probably three main concerns we might have. The first one will be data privacy and the overall surveillance, that more AI monitoring what we are doing. Even though it's your trash, it's still a lot of personal information inside it. True. And we know it could be an issue in the fact that AI will not only look but will store the information. So that creates probably like some. You need some, firewall. You need some protection for that data. But I know some colleagues, in law, especially, are looking and thinking about in general the AI and data privacy issues. But waste will be have to be included in that conversation. The second one will be probably the e-waste that is being created. So that could be paradoxical a little bit, but we are trying to sort better. But to sort better, we are actually creating
more waste,
creating more e-waste. E-waste is now, I think, is the highest, fastest growing waste stream in the world. Like it just keep coming and coming. So that will be also an issue that we will have to probably at some point weigh in, the benefit with the cost. But that will be a debate probably for specialists that will be able to look at the numbers, but I don't think we'll be able to skip that debate. And finally, the fact that it's also high energy consumption, because in order to store all that data, you need data centers with storage capacity, and that it's like thousands and thousands of what a house or will consume. So we also have to think, the ecological cost of having those practices. So again, I think it's also important when we talk about recycling and waste in general. You have this steps which are now, so it used to be the 3R, now it's the 5R, but to remind you, the 3Rs, I'm sure you know them, but it's first reduce, then reuse, and then finally recycle. I think that's also a very important thing to always remember. If we can do huge progress in the recycling technicalities, to improve it, at the very core, I think we need also to focus on the reducing.
That's not surprising me, because in fact those three topics are some topics that are being, I would say, shared within the group, within Veolia, as a company where we care about the environment in this industry, where we have always this message of AI, but responsible AI related to those topics. The legal part as well, even some regulations are going on in Europe with the Act for AI. I can share an example. For example, within Veolia, we are not allowed to use the AI meeting notes through Google Meet, because there could be an issue in terms of legal, if this is some data that is related to what you say. So there is like kind of border that needs to be assessed. So in fact, the topics are common to the companies, and this is what we need to think about to be able to do those progress in the future.
Yeah, so innovate, use, AI, but also be aware of the risks and all the concerns and data privacy that, we have around it. And by the way, you mentioned the energy consumption, where we did a full episode on this AI special series with one of your colleagues, Samuel, on Can AI Be Green? So, and we deep dive into, the electricity consumption, data centers, and all of that, which is also a major issue. That brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much, Clio, Rafik, for sharing your insights, examples, and taking the time for this episode. That brings us to the end of this episode on Let's Turn the Tide by Veolia Near and Middle East in collaboration with Sorbonne University Abu Dhabi. We have more episodes coming up, so please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Veolia Near and Middle East, and you can also find us on all the podcast platforms. Just search for Let's Turn the Tide. And stay tuned for our upcoming episodes.